to all of us. Good day to wherever you are joining us from. I hope we had a wonderful day, and those of us already in the evening time, I hope we had a wonderful evening as well. I want to officially welcome all of us again to this third day of our Afba and AEA Awards. It's been a great 3 day packed with knowledge and exhibition of all sorts. So without much ado, we want to start our program for this evening and waste not much time. I'll call on Emmanuel Kwame. If you are here, sir, part of the academic committee member, like you're part of the board, you're a member, I want you to take us through the opening prayer. So, sir, if you're here, we are ready for you. If he's not here, can we have any member of NEC to take us through the opening prayer? Madam Vice President, please, are you around?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Please,
can you please do us the honors?
Okay, shall we pray? Father, we thank you for 2 days, and we thank you for an opportunity to round up today. We ask for your presence to be with us, study our first from start to finish. We trust in you that you will do this for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Madam Vice President, for doing us that honors. And I'll still zoom in straight. Once again, officially welcoming all of us to the third day of our Afba and the AEA of NUGS-CHINA. Wherever you are joining us from, I want to say a warm welcome to all of us. It's been packed over the past 3 days, and we've been a very wonderful audience to our panelists, to our guest speakers, to our chairpersons, to all of us. I want to say thank you to all of us. Now, we please want to introduce our guest speaker for today. And to do us that honors will be our very own National Women's Commissioner. Her name is Mami. Mami, please, if you are here, please take us.
Hello, please, can I be heard?
Loud and clear.
All right. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker, as our MC rightly said. So, this year's Afba's team is on harnessing capabilities for sustainable development, and that was birthed out of our continent, Africa. Africa still having the problem of battling with issues of difficulty accessing energy, hunger, and malnutrition, among others. So we're privileged to have a biologist, a team lead of peak season group, a businessman, and a barrister at law give more insights on essential yet practical ways to protect, manage, or utilize the existing resources of our land without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So at this point, please join me in welcoming, he's an Esquire, so please join me in welcoming Mr. Hugh Marcellinus Potakey. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mami, for the kind words. And thank you, everybody. First of all, just a test. Is my sound okay?
Loud and clear.
Okay,
awesome. So I want to thank everybody for inviting me. I know it's a program that already started, so I will stand on the existing protocols and say Professor Chair, executives and members of the National Union of Ghana Students, China. Distinguished participants joining us from all areas, I'm grateful once again. Of the few introductory words that were said, I would like to say that I am wearing my hat today as a farmer. So for all the academic and technical things that probably have been shared so far, I speak as a raw farmer, basically as a farmer. What I have learned over the years, what I can share with everybody. And my hope is that by the time we are done, someone would be challenged to think different, would be challenged to follow up the thoughts with action, And then in exactly 9 years from today, there will be a number of the participants that would have fruits to show. So I will zoom in straight to my topic. I am speaking on a not too regular topic, which I have titled the Ratan Tata Mindset. The Ratan Tata Mindset. It sounds a bit musical, but when I'm through with this, in hopefully some 17 minutes and 33 seconds, I want to finish within that. I hope that the three things, which is the thinking, the action, and then the fruit, would be engineered in somebody to run off and do great things for the community first, the nation, and then our continent. The second point is this: I don't take this platform or opportunity for granted at all. Because so many years ago, there's a small Catholic seminary, minor seminary, somewhere around Elmina called Emisano Minor Seminary. And Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had wanted to become a Catholic priest. So he spent some time at the minor seminary. It's a bit secluded. It still till date has a lot of forest, very lush vegetation and all of that. And many believe that it was his days there in this environment, seeing all the serenity and the tranquility that was in the area, that he came out with a lot of his concepts about feeding Africa, Africa being sustaining and all of that. So sometimes it will just be a sentence or a word you hear from someone that will trigger what is already in you, and then you run with it. My prayer is that today, God will open up our spirits, and then
Like, so they give you food, they give you something, say,
we'll be challenged to take this and hit the road running. One, when a Chinese man sees water, he sees wealth. The Chinese mindset, let's start from here. This is home for now. When a Chinese man sees water, he sees wealth. So you'd see that the world over, anywhere the Chinese relocate or settle, they would want to settle around a water body. Anything water is wealth for the Chinese. That is a mindset for the Chinese. We come back to Africa. Let's take Eastern Africa, Kenya. Anytime a Kenyan woman sees land, she sees wealth. And that explains why the poorest of a Kenyan owns at least a calf or a cow. And people strive like that the moment that they give birth to their kids, they would assign a calf to the baby. As the child grows, the cow also grows, and it is to produce wealth for them. So the Chinese sees water as wealth. The Kenyan sees land as wealth. Let's come home. Do you realize, well, I don't know if it's still the case, but in my day, and many of you might probably identify with this, in my day, do you realize that anytime someone misbehaved in school, was late, was rude, was recalcitrant, the teachers would immediately, as a form of punishment, get him a cutlass to go and weed the school farm? Yes. So the way we started off, we kind of saw farming space and the whole agri-business not as a business, but as a way of punishing or bringing people to order. We left this agri-business space for those who couldn't have all the opportunities to have higher education. And at the end of the day, something as sophisticated that other continents are employing all kinds of engineering to get and make it good, we settled for just hand to mouth. And now it is on record that the average Ghanaian cocoa farmer is now about 60 years old. This is what it means. If the cocoa farmer were in regular employment, the average Ghanaian cocoa farmer would have been on pension. Aside the challenges with galamsey and all other things that are coming along with the whole farming industry, you realize that there's this phenomenon of aging population for farmers. Is it a wonder that our cocoa shortfalls are so huge that now, when world prices of cocoa is going up, we are rather declining in production? My question tonight, or anyone listening today, is where are the younger population that have been equipped or trained or inspired or encouraged to go into this sector? The time will come when the strength of the farmers will just wane, and then they could only do lesser acreage just to feed their families, keep body and soul together, and then the nation then loses out. So this evening, I would want us to link what engineering is and then to the concept or the industry of agribusiness. Ladies and gentlemen, do we know that for decades, when we spoke about agriculture, we only thought of the production of the food? At best, we farm, we wait for the season. When the season is over, then we wait for the next season again, then we farmed. But the world has moved on. In fact, the whole idea of being an engineer hitherto would be one that was reserved for people who think, people who were diligent, they could sustain a lot of pressure when they were in school. And then again, they were also wired ultimately to solve problems in society. Great. Now, the thing is this, engineers can't make mistakes. Now, if you go back to the creation story and to think that the creator created a garden, planted a garden, and then put man in charge, then it tells you that right from the onset, man was equipped or is expected to till that land, and that is engineering. You would also realize that we have over the years simplified engineering and ended up making engineering the preserve of just a few, maybe the bright spots who were in the classroom. My question to all of us, especially as a lot of you listeners are people who have had the privilege of higher education. My question is this: if engineers are supposed to think, if engineers are wired to be diligent and can sustain pressure, if engineers are supposed to ultimately solve problems in society, and if engineers are generally a select few that are considered privileged or top of their classes, then I dare say that all of you listening to me are engineers, one way or the other. Because you can't live and survive in China without being able to soak the pressure. I was here latter part of last year, stayed for quite a while. It was the winter that chased me away. I stayed in Hunan, and the winter, I mean, I've been to New York, I've been to a few places, but the winter last December was something else. To the extent that by the time I got to Ghana, the temperature gradient was so sharp that I was unwell for well over 2 weeks. So if you are living in China and surviving, I dare say that you are tough, you are able to handle a lot of pressure. Not to mention the courses that you are reading and the demand and pull and the reports and all the papers that you need to deliver. This, in as much as it's training and for your own good, tactically makes you an engineer. The second thing is you need to think. I have worked here for maybe about 13 years, thereabouts, or 14. And every single time, you would practically have to think for those you are working with. Well, in the business field, that is my experience here. Now, here we go. If all of these factors, which I have enumerated, are attributes of engineers, then you are all engineers. My last question is this: what problems of our society have you solved? And what problems do you intend or want to solve? Let's go back home. I'll give you just 2 examples, and I will end with a story. The first example, is that water is life. We heard this over and over and over when we were growing up. Indeed, water is still life. The Chinese sees life and sees wealth when he sees water. That explains why there are a lot of Chinese development and settlements and quasi businesses along the river bodies in Ghana. Let's take the biggest man-made lake in the world, the Volta Lake. Do you know that 102 million cubic meters of fresh water flows through the Akosombo turbines every single day? 102 million cubic meters of fresh water. Now, for those of you that might not be too proficient with the figures, let me bring it home, something you might be familiar with. Containers, shipping containers. We usually use the 40-foot HQ for shipments to Ghana, and then the 20. The 50s don't go to Tema generally, and it's essentially because no one has thought that they should bring cranes that can lift containers that are beyond the 40-foot HQ. So essentially, the cranes lift about 29 tons. It's wired to do about 30 tons. So containers are loaded to a maximum of 28 tons. That's just by the way. But the volumes of water that flow to the turbines of Akosombo Dam and flows freely, going into waste at the estuary of Ada, if you put it in container forms, you can actually fill 1.5 million containers, 40-foot containers of fresh water. And this is what goes freely to waste into the sea at Ada. I spent about 2 weeks working in Dubai and then moved to Singapore for a week before I came to China a couple of weeks back. Now listen to me. Singapore in all its glory, all the amazing things that you hear about Singapore, still depends on Malaysia for fresh water. Yes. One of the reasons why Singapore accommodation and lodging is so expensive is because the water we use largely comes from Malaysia. Singapore till date buys water from Malaysia because they don't have fresh water. Yep. And we have Ghana. We have 1.5 million 40-footer HQ, not the standard HQ, containers full of fresh water that flows through today's estuary in Ada freely into the sea every single day, just fresh water. That is how serious our situation is. And we would rather want to open them when they said, oh, the dam is too full, the dam might break. Then we open all the gates and then the water floods people's homes. It destroys livelihood. It destroys farms. And then at the end of the day, we put together some welfare team, a package, resettle people, get contributions to bring them back again and all of that. Free water. Where are the engineers? If you've had the opportunity to be here, schooling, adding value to yourself, please don't just come home with a paper certificate, because indeed, the certificate can be printed in Accra, Newtown. It is replete with so many mushroom printing presses. Come back with something else. And what is this that I would want to challenge you to come back with? The Ratantata mindset. So in 1959, in a university called Cornell, that is quite renowned in the US, a group of foreign students, just like a lot of you, had gone to school. And when they graduated in 1959, and this is the crux of my presentation, when they graduated in 1959, an interviewer called 5 of them and asked them a very basic and simple question. The question was this: how long would it take you to buy BMW? Let me repeat. How long will it take you to buy a BMW? The first to answer the question was a medical doctor, a freshly graduated medical doctor. And he says, if I worked hard with how much I expect to make as a medical doctor, in 6 to 8 months, I should be able to afford to buy a BMW. The next one was one who had graduated with an MBA. He was asked the same question. How long would you think it would take you to buy BMW? He says, well, if I put in a lot of work and some side contracts and all of that, as a young engineer, it may take maybe an MBA graduate. It may take a bit while. So you give me 11 months to about a year and a half. Then they move to the next person and ask him, how long do you think, same question, same preamble, how long do you think it will take you to buy BMW? The next person was an engineer. The engineer said, same, at least about 2 years, I should be able to buy a BMW. Then they went to the fourth person and they asked the fourth person, how long do you think it will take you to buy a BMW? The fourth person asks, well, it depends. If it's a fresh BMW, I could do probably up to a year. But if it's a fairly used BMW, I can get some support back home, and we could get this maybe in about 9 months. The last person was a young man then called Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata said 5 years or more. And all of them looked at him because Ratan Tata was graduating as an architect. And the expectation was that since the engineer had said that, oh, it will take me about a year and a half, at least the architect should also say maybe a year, because the architect will design all of that and then get paid before the project is handed to the engineers and the builders to complete. So they were expecting him, the architect, to mention a shorter time frame to buy BMW. When the interviewer asked him, why this long? All of your colleagues said something up to a year and a half. The maximum was 2 years. Ratan Tata's answer was very, very, very significant. And this is where I want us all to pay attention. Ratan Tata said, well, BMW is a large company. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the question was, how long would it take for you to buy BMW? All the first four, all they had and thought of was to buy a BMW, one model. But Ratan Tata just sat down and his whole mindset was about buying the entire BMW company. Fast forwarding. Years later, Ratan Tata goes on with the same mindset, establishes in his home country, starts bit by bit, and by the time that Ratan Tata gets fully established and now known, Ratan Tata is behind a lot of amazing businesses, spanning from his native India all across Asia and to the world. Do you know, for instance, that as we speak, the largest auto company in the whole of Asia is owned by Ratan Tata, the Tata Group. India is the second most populous nation in the world. And India's national carrier, like flag carrier, the airline, Air India Limited, is owned by Tata and Tata. So this is what it means. If India alone makes up, let's say, 30% of the world's population, and half of Indians fly Air India, what it means is that Ratan Tata, the architect who sat down upon graduating from Cornell, and at that time thought of owning the whole of the BMW company, flies 15% of the world's population. The biggest private electricity producer in all of India is owned by Ratan Tata. They have over 17 companies. I come back to us because the reality is this, especially as young people, as people who are on the cusp of either making it now or follow the business as usual, to challenge you to be radical. How come that the same people schooled in the same Cornell University, from the same background, one was able to think differently? And to think differently is posited on how you spend your time. I did my research and found out that in the same 1959, the BMW company was having a lot of crisis, such that it took two brothers called the Quant brothers, Herbert and Henry, I believe. And they brought money, family money, and rescued BMW. As we speak, the Quant brothers, their family owns 26% of BMW worldwide. Could it be that when everybody else was excited about all that is going on, social media and entertainment and galore and going here and putting in a lot of energetic things and going all of that, Ratan Tata had spent time reading, trying to get interested in what was happening in the world. And he had learned that BMW itself as a company was in distress, was in crisis, and had to be rescued by two brothers, the Quant brothers. So it is possible that he, an individual, could go and buy BMW one day, not just buy it, buy others, or build even better and greater brands. What have we spent our times on? TikTok. It's a Chinese app. TikTok came, a lot of people got on it, the whole world, everybody, uses TikTok and all of that. But it will shock you the level of content that the African market put up there on TikTok. Very lewd themes, dances, crass, humor, a lot of silly things that does not make sense at all. If you are listening to me, I came not as an academic. I came as a local mere farmer who spends a lot of time with nature and with crops and trying to figure out how things work. If you spend all of your time taking pictures of the food you are eating here and putting it on social media so that back home they say that, oh, Charlie, it's big, wearing camels and boots and designer wear and all of that, high chances are that you are following or towing the line of the four others who were with Ratan Tata when this interviewer interviewed them. Because the interviewer probably was motivated by humor or just to, in street slang, dissing these Indian boys. Okay, now you are done with Cornell. You've also managed to come to Cornell. How long do you think it will take you to buy BMW? Now here we are. We don't even remember the names of the four others who were with Ratan Tata when they were interviewed. They were only described by what they graduated in school with: MBA, medicine, engineer. But for this lanky, quiet Indian person, because of the answer he gave and his mindset, today we remember his name. Today we remember Ratan Tata. They have bought up a lot of other car brands. They have a lot in their fleet. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from my native Cape Coast, they say, Asampa Yetia. What are you coming home with? Are you coming home with a Ratan Tata mindset? or you are coming home with a few witching contacts so that when you go back from a shaman, you can, oh, your boy needs some phone cover or some used phone at that shato in Guangzhou. You go and get it and send it and all of that, the hand-to-mouth kind of thing. I have a friend who just graduated with a PhD from Japan. In 48 hours after graduating, they were sent back, put on a flight back to Ghana. What it is that you have acquired, go and apply it right there. And I tell you, there are a lot of opportunities on the soil. If God planted man in a garden, then he knows what he had put in the soil. That is how come he asks man to stay there and till it. Africa has 60% of the world's arable lands now. Yes, there are challenges. Just before I came on, I got a call from my farm manager. And the message was simple. Say, there are no onion seeds in Ghana. I am an onion farmer. My people from Anglo area will say, Sabalato, Anyura. There are no onion seeds in Ghana. I said, what do we do? Should I get some from Ghana and fly it down? He said, no, maybe the climate and all of that, Chinese seeds may not do too well here. Besides, there's a lot of restrictions bringing seeds in. So what do we do? He says, sir, we have to go to Togo and go and find onion seed from Togo to plant. Ghana are going to buy onion seeds from Togo. So I said, okay, how much more will we need? He says, sir, we need extra funds. I instructed the administrator, funds are released. As we speak, he gets to a flower border, the border is closed because Togo is having an election soon or something like that. So they can't even access to buy seeds to plant. Ladies and gentlemen, now this is the data that will shock you. Last 2 years, Ghana imported 34 million US dollars of onions from Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. These are deserts. These are places that, aside being deserts, no water, they are even fighting. That should tell you the amount of money we put together, sinking, and put in another's country. We made all the noise planting for food and jobs and this, slogan, branding, and all of that. Common onion seeds, we don't have. I'm challenging any of you that studied something on biotech, that did different things. Can you come back home and establish an industry to solve such problems and solve such gaps? A bag of cocoa, until recently when there was a lot of noise and election was coming and politics and all of that, that the price was raised by Cocoa Board. It used to be 660 cedis. The last onion we did, we sold a bag for 900 cedis, a bag of onions. Onion takes 4 months. The bag is 900 cedis. This year with no seeds and the scarcity that is sure to come, I don't know where a bag would go to. A bag of cocoa was then 660 cedis. With all the investment, Cocoa Board, Akati, Youth Bank, Cocoa Cratchy, and all of that, 660 cedis it was, compared to 900 cedis of onions. When you grow cocoa, it takes about 4 or 5 years. On the 6th year, you start reaping some reasonable harvest. I am challenging you today. Why would I want to be growing cocoa when every 4 months I can harvest onions? The 34 million US dollars that goes out to Niger, Mali, and Burkina. Don't come back home and sit with everybody else. Scholar with degrees from China, come back home with the Ratan Tata mindset. I end on this note. 1, I need you actually first to do an assignment for me, but more for yourself. pick a pen and paper and write 1. Think. 2. Action. And 3. Fruits by 2033. That is 9 years. 1. Action. No, 1. Think. Command yourself. Think. 2. Action. Follow the thoughts with action. And 3. Fruits. Today we have learned, in conclusion, that we are all engineers. The challenge we have is to realign our engineering to the productive areas of our communities, nation, and our continent, Africa. We have always had a competitive edge in agriculture. The world is waiting for our fruits. Please rise up and be counted. If you are inspired today, just don't applaud and move on. Be a Ratantata thinker. In 1959, when Ratantata was graduating from Cornell, the challenges that you face today, they also face him and maybe even more. There was no WhatsApp to call me in China and say there are no seeds, shortage of seeds, just seed to plant. So we have to go to Togo and all of that. They also had even worse challenges, but they solved them. And ever since, they've been rewarded many times over. As you come back home, your destiny is in your own hands. Don't come back for the 3rd time. Don't come back with just paper certificates. Accra Newtown has plenty of printing press. Come back with a Ratantata mindset and let us make our continent great and strong. God bless you all. And thank you for inviting me. My name is Farmer Hugh, if you just join in, and I bring positivity your way. Sheshe, sheshe, sheshe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know
Thank you.
if it's possible we can have some fun emojis in the chat box. I wish we could all put on like videos and then say hello to our guest speaker. It's been wow. I'm just wowed from my end. And just to quote also Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, indeed the African is capable of managing his own affairs. We want to thank our lawyer here, as he rightly describes himself, the local farmer, for reminding us of the engineers in us. And above everything, reminding us that we need to, at this point, loading down within us to harness the Ratantata mindset so that we can put our African nation and then continent on the map. Thank you so much. I think from henceforth, just like he rightfully said, we are going to think, we are going to take action, and we make sure that we are going to bear fruits. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this. And to show our appreciation, I please want to call on Miss Yingli, the Guangzhou president, the Guangzhou NUGS president, to do a presentation on behalf of NUGS to show our appreciation to our guest speaker. So Ms. Yingli, if you are here, please, you can take over. Forgive me if I had a name
Hello,
wrong.
good evening. It's fine. Hello, good evening. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Great. This is a citation of honor presented to Esquire Hugh Marcellinus Potakey. The National Union of Ghana Students, China, sincerely thanks you for availing yourself as a guest speaker at the 5th Africa's Future Beyond Aid, Afba 2024 International Conference on the 3rd of May, 2024. Your proficiency and experience have greatly enhanced the conversations and offered insightful perspectives on self-sufficiency and sustainable development in Africa. We sincerely appreciate your dedication to excellence and your willingness to share your experience with us. We are much grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, team. On behalf of my team of field workers and everybody else that believes that it is time to break camp and advance, I dedicate this to all new Ratantatan mindset members see you at the top. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hugh. I think I'll be the first to join that movement. There are times that I'm moving. Probably this beyond common sense. Our media team, please. Thank you. I think this will be beyond the common sense family. Thank you so much once again. It was quite impactful. It's been something we've all been looking forward to, and I believe that we'll get more of such speeches to help us actually know where we are going on and which trajectory we are supposed to move. Thank you so much. So I believe that if there's anything that we are going to remember, to be the fact that we are supposed to think, we are supposed to take action, and then above everything, bear fruit. And we are coming back home to the continent and the motherland with that mindset. Thank you so much once again, sir. We really appreciate that. All right. So I think media team, now you can take me away with your music. Give me something which is Pan-African.
The sun, I wanna feel it shine inside me. Oh yeah, I wanna walk into the beat of the drum. I want my life with all around me. Oh yeah, we together.
Okay, media team. Thank you so much, media team. Yes, you always keep me giggling and then dancing in my seat, and I love that. So yes, I think we are moving straight to another segment of our program. So just like we've done in the past 3 days, we have individuals that come to present their research work. We have a dedicated panelist that come in to scrutinize their work, add value to it, so that the main aim is to help them get published in very recognized journals, in fact, peer-reviewed journals, possibly indexed in Web of Science. Those of us who were here and then people were talking about FDIs and we're not understanding them, I think that today we probably might be having something in our field. So today, still having our old panelists sitting on the panel for us, we have a new set of individuals who will be presenting. And this time they have been selected from the field of economics, finance, and agribusiness. We are fortunate that our guest speaker was actually talking on agriculture. And to start, we'll please call on Mr. Shadrach Limo. He's going to be our first presenter. We'll please plead that you try to be brief, you stay within your time limit. And also we are please reminded that if you are here and this is the first time you are joining us, I mean, over the past 2 days, you have not been with us, you kindly register your name so that you get a certificate after the program. We'd also, above everything and with all due respect, beg us that we try to mute our mics so that they wouldn't cause any form of interference when we are in the middle of presentations. So, Mr. Shadrach Limo, if you are here, please take over. Mr. Shadrach, please, we are waiting for you if you are here. Mr. Limo. Media team, can you please give us a little bit of a musical interlude as we wait for him? Media team, please, are you there?
Ghana, only get way to Africa. Why are you cry? Son of you are welcome home. Somewhere for you. Somewhere for you. Somewhere for you. You are always welcome home.
All right, so I'm reliably informed that our speaker is occupied at the moment. So, oh, he's available now. Can you please kindly check your mic? We can barely hear you. Mr. Limo.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, my network was not well, but now I have rectified the issue.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes, please, we can.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Shadrach Kipkogei Limo. Our guest, our panelists, and all the members in this group. Thank you for this opportunity, for giving me this chance to just discuss what I have. So this is my work, which I was trying to show. It is about the sustainable livelihoods in Kenya tea industry, whereby I was assessing the microeconomic effects of informal tea marketing participation in the household income. This is my content. What I will cover the introduction, empirical. I will also show what I have to get the data. I will also talk about the analytical framework, results, policy implication, and then the conclusion. As we know that apart from the climate change, Africa faces low productivity, poor infrastructure, and also majority of the smallholder farmers, apart from struggling to give us the production, they also face the issues of the agricultural marketing issues, because we have more middlemen which take advantage of the farmers, and as a result, we have asymmetric information, and those farmers who are not aware of the marketing information, they suffer more losses. And on that regard, I took an example whereby I'm dealing with the tea farming in Kenya, whereby tea production employ about 13 million people, and 9 million of those people are the smallholders, while the remaining are the tea estates. And we can see that China, Sri Lanka, and Kenya account half of the tea production, and the majority of those people who are doing those processes are the smallholder tea farmers. And as we see that, as the tea sector struggle to come up with the sustainability of ensuring that the sustainable goals 1 and 2, like ending the hunger and the poverty, the same smallholder tea farmers are still in very low, poor condition, and majority of them are still in poverty. And we can see that over the recent years, those countries in sub-Saharan Africa, they are experiencing a very strong competitive environment in terms of the market, whereby we have many middlemen and private multinationals, whereby they buy these green leaves directly from the smallholder farmers. And this, it has brought about multi-practices, whereby these people, middlemen, can lease tea farms for the immediate cash, or those smallholder farmers who are resource constrained, they can sell those green tea directly to those people because they need cash. And we can see that although some studies view that those informal as a means of job creation, it is also give us a challenge because those people, because of lack of asymmetric information, this informal participation, we have lack of documentation, we have lack of transparency, and then this makes challenging to the farmers because in the long run they cannot able to access the credit or even have a long-term market opportunities. And therefore, based on this now, it gives us to to answer the question on what are the drivers of the tea marketing, what can make the farmers to engage in these activities. And in that regard, we just examine this process using endogenous switching regression. Again, this is what I use. I based on the two theories, the theory of the neoclassical theory and the random utility. In this neoclassical theory, it talks about the behavior of the individuals and farms on making decisions on how to allocate the resources. And in this one of the random utility, it talks about how farms or farmers make decision regarding on how to choose the marketing channels, whereby in this regard they choose those market which they can have the profit. And this is my contribution, whereby this study examines the impact of the smallholder tea farmers and informal tea participation in Kenya in making the following contribution. We see that the previous studies in Kenya have just emphasized on the factors that affect tea, planetary and sustainability. And also, most of them, they have just deal with the determinants. And in this regard, however, the transaction cost and the drivers of the informal tea participation and impact has been less explored, and therefore I decided to cover that. Also, we link this foundation by these former studies, whereby they just use the Ekman model, and in this regard, I try to use the ECR and the PCM for the robustness. And also, most of the research on the tea marketing have also focused on the formal market and the large plantation. And there is scarce literature in the issue of informal tea issues. Is my conceptual framework, whereby these are the tea smallholder farmers, whereby being affected by these demographic factors, we have two channels, whereby we have non-informal marketing, we have informal. So these smallholder farmers are being affected by this one, whereby now I'm just focusing on the informal because apart from these demographic factors, those farmers are also propelled because in that place we have the reduced regulations, and being in the fact that in the tea sector there are some issues which it need to be considered, like the types of the tea leaves which is required. So in that regard, the tea required 2 leaves and above, and also there is also a price for each kilogram of tea. So these smallholder farmers, they just consider here because there is no much regulations. There is also a flexible market whereby they cannot adhere to these planting standards, and they can end up not giving a quality tea. And in that regard, those who are on the formal path, they can, although they have a strict regulation, they are able to get the monthly income and the bonus, while this in the informal sector, they just only obtain the immediate payments. This is where I conducted my study. It is the place, it is a place in Nandi Hills, whereby this study was conducted in 2022, whereby I consider this place because this is the third largest tea producer in Kenya. And also, I consider also because this place we have over 12 tea factories, several multinational companies, and many tea intermediaries. Further, there was also an issue from the Tea Board of Kenya about the informal tea, whereby they were trying to say that this process of informal, it has resulted to poor quality of tea, and also it has also made a decrease in tea auction prices. So I used the primary data, whereby we use, this was the total number of the farmers in the tea records, whereby I follow, and also I use the Yamana formula to calculate, and I end up getting 603, and on that we just do survey or 591, and later we got 512, whereby from this 195 declared to be actively participating in the informal, and 317 were not participating. In terms of analytical framework, I use descriptive statistics, PCM, and the endogenous switching regression. So I choose the ECR because it can quantify the effect of a random assigned, and also in the 2-stage, and also it can employ PCM in the first stage, whereby this is those who can either take part in informal or otherwise. This is the starter command. I use starter 17, and I use the command of move state, whereby this is the outcome, and this is the variables, and this one is the dependent variable, and this one is the control variable, the distance. And AT is now the difference between those who participated in the informal and those who did not participate. This was my statistics, descriptive, whereby this was my variables. This is the age. So after I ran it, this was the results. Next, this is the endogenous switching regression, whereby I ran. This is the first stage, coefficients, whereby I found that education, farm experience, plucking standards, duration of payments, availability of extension as the key determinants of the informal. And this is the regime 1, whereby it is talking about those who are in formal channels, and this one now is for the informal. And I found only 3, which was the key determinants that affect the income, that is occupation. I also find access to credit and the availability of the extension. In terms of now determining the average achievement effect, I found that I use, in the first place, I use the endogenous fitting regression, and these two are used to check for the robustness, whereby I found that those who are participating in the informal market, they have higher income here, and those who are in non-informal, they have 8.298, and the ATT average treated untreated is 0.271, and this is the PCM for the neighboring, and this one is the PCM for the kernel. And I also have the differences, and I found this was the differences. This was the balancing, whereby I did some quality of matching between the covariants, and this is my PCM score graphs. And I also try to show why those who are also informal can participate in selling the tea direct to the middleman, and I show the benefit of non-compliance with the tea plucking standards. And I found that those farmers who adhere to the plucking standard and those who do not, this table revealed that those who do not follow the plucking standard, they benefit by 6%, and those who do not, they can benefit by 6%. And this is this shows that those informal, those who are informal, they can at some time sell that tea because they can need the immediate cash